Hello, everyone. It's Nicole Galacci from FoodGrads, and I'm joined by Dr. Darren Dutwala from Northeastern University. And we're going to talk to you about starting a career in the food industry.
In this video, we're going to talk about interviewing in the age of COVID-19. Hey, Nicole,
Yes,
you know what this kind of looks like? It looks like we're doing like an interview over the internet.
it does seem that way.
I wonder if this is exactly what it would look like if I was being interviewed for a job via a virtual
Zoom or, yeah,
Zoom or Teams or Blue Jeans or some platform with them. It would seem like a virtual meeting would be just like this for an interview.
absolutely.
Do I look, maybe I should wear a tie, but I think there's a lot of things to consider if you were interviewing for a job
Absolutely.
online.
This is it. I mean, this is ultimately what people are doing now, what they've well, I mean, I think that even prior to COVID and people working from home and interviewing from home, so processes still have to move forward, people still need to be hired. This was always going on. You know, if you were hiring somebody in a different, state or a different province, then you had to do it online. But I think now it's definitely more prevalent,
Probably
to
efficient,
hone your skills. Yes,
efficient.
absolutely.
Do people ask you about interviewing online or even just like interviewing in the age of COVID-19?
I've had some questions from students and grads about the interview process online, and I mean, the easy answer is people were interviewing online prior, so nothing's really changed there. And there's lots of information available. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Interviewing is always number one, with any recruitment organization or advice given platform, how to interview, different interviews, that type of thing. Um, so I don't think anything's changed in terms of what questions are being asked around the job specifically, but I would say that you're interviewing the person on the other side of the screen as much as they're interviewing you. And certainly any advice I would give at this point in time is to equip yourself with the right questions about workplaces now post COVID, or we're still in it for the most part, but post COVID. So what has changed? And actually, our last Food Grads blog really covered this. Things that employers have done, food manufacturers have done to protect workers. And I think it's important to be able to ask some questions. What have you done? Is the line slower? Is it the same? Does that mean that you've got perspex in between? Just show that you know your stuff, that you know what some employers have done. And so you can make sure that you feel confident and take away that part that may be making you a little bit nervous about moving into an opportunity right now at this time. So that would be what I would say.
I've been getting some questions, but my questions or my answer to these questions, they seem logical, but it always makes me think about how there's different questions being asked. For instance, I've gone to many job interviews, but I'm doing my first interview online. Should I practice? I definitely think that one should practice interviewing online. For instance, I would shut down every program on your computer. I would shut down your browser. I don't want to have any kind of pop-ups. I don't want to have any kind of distractions. I want to
Yeah.
test the sound and the audio and the video. Um,
Yes.
I also think that it's kind of ironic that if you're looking at this, I think you have a much more appropriate backdrop than I do. Mine's rather busy. Yours seems like, professional. I'm able to focus on you without being distracted by things behind you.
Although it
Um,
speaks to you, it does share a little bit about you.
yeah, but if I had my college posters and my beer can collection and my dirty I'm not kidding. My dirty bedroom and my laundry
Yes,
hamper and you don't wanna have anything. You don't look behind you like there's anything that would make me question you.
right, right.
I don't want
I know
anything
what you're
behind
saying.
me. Yeah. Um, um, I think one of the biggest tips that I've heard lately is, "Oh, I get nervous and I don't want my nerves to come. I don't want to forget things." And people point out that no one can see behind your screen and how you should use yellow stickies around, like around here and here and here and here and here and here to make sure you have a reminder about your key points
Yes,
or whatever. So you're not like this. That's a good question.
yes.
Um, right, right. You could just be like, oh, that's a good point. Yes, I do have experience in this level, such as,
Yes.
you have those things at your fingertip.
I would say definitely read through your notes prior because you want it to look natural, like you're not. I mean, to your point, you don't want to miss. I think those post-its should be reminders, not reading off. Because
Right.
if you've done it, you shouldn't have to read it. It's like sitting in across from someone and reading off your resume. Nobody wants to see that. Like if you've done it, you should know that your stuff. But to your point, when you watch CNN or the president speak, you don't think they have teleprompters and, they don't memorize everything. Um, we're human. We get nervous. We do. So yeah, I would say 100% put yourself in a powerful position where you're ready to start and you feel confident because you've got your notes around and little post-its with the key points, just so you don't miss them. The last thing you want to do is get off the call and be like, darn, I meant to say, such and such. Well, if you've got it on a post-it right there, you're more likely to say it. So yeah, I agree.
Well, and don't have your cat here, petting your
Yeah.
cat kind of thing. I also I read this thing about clothing stores, how people are buying shirts and jackets, but they're not buying pants. I would recommend dress from, I'm not kidding, even shoes and socks. It's about your attitude and your state of mind. I
Mm.
want to be head to toe as if I was walking into that setting and I'm going to be looked at, even though they're only going to look at me from here up.
Yes.
I want to be in that space, and for me to be in that space, I have my shiny shoes and my matching belt, whatever it is,
Yeah.
from head to toe. Not this kind of only what I think someone's going to be looking at.
It's true. Like they talk about the superhero stance before you get up to really channel those feelings of I can do this, I've got this. I think I agree 100%. Obviously, I was going to say, but maybe I should point out, do your hair, make yourself presentable. Don't sit there with a ball cap. That said, I think in terms of don't kill, sort of beat yourself up though if there is a noise or your cat jumps in the room. Because what I have learned during COVID is people are much more forgiving
Sure.
right now because there's more people in the house. So I
Right.
have kids, I have a dog, they forget. I can say 1,000 times, I'm going on a video and they forget. So I think there's a little bit of more forgiveness now. Like, have you seen that famous news reader when his kids
Yes.
and the wife comes and I mean it's classic, but that stuff happens. I think it's the way you handle it. Just apologize and move on.
I think though there's an element in terms of what you can control. I would never do a job interview on a swivel chair because it becomes
You
distracting. So either
you might
A,
swivel.
I'm gonna do a stationary chair, so I'm not rocking.
Yes,
I've heard some people say that you should do it standing up.
right.
It makes it easier to do the superhero pose,
Yes, that's true.
but it's also a bit of the energy. You're not going to get like your legs falling asleep while you're sitting down and you slouch back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's I think that your body language is still important. And I would
Yes.
also, we talked about this with social media, in terms of what you do online lasts forever. I think that a job interview over this, they could be recording it and showing it to other people who are going to be decision makers.
Right, 100%. Yeah,
So a lot of things
yeah.
to think about that. Um, and I don't think that online interviews are going to go away.
No, they're the one thing I will add, just while we're talking about appearance and putting your best foot forward, in person, what I was always asked was, how should I dress? They're a food manufacturer. I know for a fact they dress casual. That everyone wears jeans, and I would always still encourage to go overboard for the first interview, even if you assume that people are going to dress down. So when you sit across in your video interview, maybe they're wearing a ball cap and jeans, and you're in a suit. That's okay. I think you can't get you don't get a second chance to make a first impression, and it's important. Maybe your interviewer will say, and you know what, second interview, don't worry about the suit, and then that's a green light to tone it down a little bit, but let them lead. Show them that you're truly serious about the job and that you would have put the effort in. I think that speaks volumes. Rather than start where maybe they're wearing a suit and you're not, and that's a terrible situation to be in because they care more than you do. They got dressed for the interview and you didn't. Like, that's not a good look. So yeah, I think that you can certainly. It's a process. And the first instance, go all out, and then you can adjust from there.
Yeah. If you're in college still, if you're at university, I would recommend, if public speaking, if interviews, if social media stuff, I would highly recommend looking at what type of resources or opportunities might exist that could help you become more comfortable and familiar with doing these things. There are many opportunities where students can be presenting in front of judges or
The
reviewers
dissertation, like
online.
defending their dissertation or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah.
and you wouldn't want that to be the first time that you're doing something on camera like this. Same thing
Hmm.
with a job interview.
Mm.
It's I think it's very possible to find those opportunities that are going to make you feel that much more at ease
Mm.
when you're at this moment where you are very much invested in getting this position, and your ability to come across as confident and qualified is important.
It's so true, and I think grads now are in a very different position to how you and I were. That you go on YouTube, there's a video for everything. There's a
Yeah.
how-to for everything. So, and I would also say them. I mean, I can only speak from my kids to a certain degree. They're not at the age where they're looking for jobs and that type of thing, but they're always online. They're always video chatting, and they're already at a more um, natural position where this is like, oh, I've seen my friends online a lot. So I think the key I would say from that is, sure, you've done a lot on video in terms of talking to friends and things. This is now a professional
Mhm.
situation. So to your point, make sure the backdrop isn't just you lying on your bed, doing it. You have to see this as something different to what you may have done, with friends and family.
You know what though? On that is there is a culture difference. You may be exactly what you said, very confident because you're always on there with your friends and family kind of stuff. But the people interviewing you on the other side of this video camera may be 20, 25, 30 years older than you, and they're not as comfortable with that. They're not
Right.
as familiar, and they are still expecting some attributes of the in-person interview, not thinking of the same priorities in terms of someone who is your own age.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
kind of like going to their place of work, into their office to be interviewed, I think you have to go into your, the HR interview place
Hmm.
online in terms of how you conduct yourself and how
Yeah.
you approach your communication.
Your headspace. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I mean, this is good stuff, I think. Hopefully we're covering some things that people haven't thought of, and certainly helps them at this time. I mean, it's nerve-wracking enough with will I get a plant tour? Will I be able to visit the office at this point in time? There's so many unknowns at this point. So,
Well, there are
it's
companies that are doing virtual tours of their company, and there are
right.
colleges that are doing virtual tours of their campus.
And
Um,
that's a great question to ask. Or maybe they hadn't thought of doing that. So it's something great to bring up during the
I wonder
interview.
how long from now you and I, you know, will it be 2 decades from now that you and I will be talking on social media, on LinkedIn, and we'll be saying, remember when we made that video back in 2020? Yeah, everyone interviews virtually now. Remember when people used to meet up in person to interview?
Yes.
And
Well, even it's so true. Even on FoodGrads, you can add a video resume. It
hmm,
doesn't have to just be the formal resume. You can attach, like we've talked about in the past, different resumes. You can attach different resumes, but you can also video yourself as a resume. And I think again, it comes down to everybody's different. So the person that you're interviewing with is going to think differently from the other 10 people you could potentially interview with. So do what makes you comfortable and cover off all bases. Um, that's
I
the
mean, the
place to
process
start.
is always evolving. I remember when you had to deliver your resume in person.
Yeah,
And cover letter. They had to be
right.
delivered in person. Now, I don't think anyone does that. It's pretty much that,
A waste of
attach
paper.
this, yeah,
Yeah. It's very
attach
old fashioned.
this, upload to our platform. It must be in this format, um,
Hmm.
and it must be able to be read by our robot.
Absolutely. The keyword search.
Yeah, yeah. Great points. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't forget to check out the other 4 parts of this series. We hope you're enjoying and getting some value from our conversations. Also, don't forget to visit www.foodgrads.com and create your free profile today.
Consider exploring these resources.